The Aramco, Renault and Geely JV reaches final negotiation stages, and Dubai sees a record 50% rise in real estate investors last year. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramya Faraj. Renault and China's Geely automobiles are reportedly working to finalize a deal to bring Aramco in as an investor and partner to develop and supply gasoline engines and hybrid technologies. Aramco has been in talks to take a 20% stake in a Geely Renault powertrain technology company that the automakers are working to establish this year. It aims to produce over 5 million low-emission and hybrid engines and transmissions annually. That investment by Aramco would leave Renault and Geely with 40% each in the JV. Real estate transactions in Dubai reached a record $143.7 billion last year as the number of investors in its property sector grew more than 50%. This compares with $81.7 billion in 2021. The Dubai Land Department says there were over 115,000 new retail investments valued at $71.9 billion. Last year, Russians topped the nationality list of non-resident property buyers in Dubai. Completing the top 5 nationalities are the UK, India, Germany, and France. DP World expects freight rates to drop by a further 15 to 20% this year, with the worst still to come as demand slows. Officials say the first signs of a significant drop in demand are visible, and freight rates on the shipping side have declined significantly on certain routes. The biggest problems are in China, Europe, and the US as the world's largest producing and consuming economies. It comes on the back of 3 notable disruptions: the pandemic, inflation, and supply chain issues. Foreign investors poured more than $925 million into Egypt's foreign exchange market over 3 business days starting January 11th, when the Egyptian pound sharply depreciated. The Central Bank of Egypt's sales of 182-day Treasury bills surged to $1.75 billion on January 12th. Sales of 364-day Treasury bills jumped to $1.03 billion. Egypt is suffering from its worst foreign currency crunch in years, with foreign reserves dropping by $6.9 billion in a year to $34 billion at the end of December 2022. Oil prices fell in early trade this morning as recession fears dominated headlines out of the World Economic Forum's meeting in Davos. It drained optimism that stoked the market last week on prospects of a fuel demand recovery in top oil importer China. Brent crude futures traded in the low $84 range and West Texas at $78. In a bearish survey released at the Davos summit, 2/3 of private and public sector economists polled expected a global recession this year. China's economy grew last year at its slowest pace in 4 decades as it was hammered by COVID lockdowns and a property crisis. Still, the reading beat forecasts and raised hopes for a strong recovery as it reopens. Growth came in at just 3% last year, the worst reading since 1976, excluding pandemic hit 2020. The figure missed the government's 5.5% target, but was better than the 2.7% predicted by analysts. And Microsoft is widening access to its hugely popular software from OpenAI. OpenAI is a startup that Microsoft is backing, whose futuristic ChatGPT chatbox has captivated Silicon Valley. Public interest in OpenAI surged following its November release of ChatGPT. It's a text-based chatbox that can draft prose, poetry, or even computer code on command. Microsoft says ChatGPT itself, not just its underlying tech, will soon be available via its cloud. I'm Ramya Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.